Lowell hates the sun. Anyway, so this is session 1 of 2 of Grimm, which is an older Fantasy Flight game, which was originally part of their D20 Horizon line, where they did these 64-page setting books. Anyway, they liked it so much, they took it and overwrote a giant set of rules and made it a hardcover, and never did anything with it after that, because I don't think it sold that well. So there we go. It is, however, a game with some really interesting ideas in terms of setting, and it's kind of fun. So the basic gist of this is the players are children who have gotten transported, caught, lost into the Grimm lands. And the Grimm lands essentially are a fairy tale realm, but twisted. Nothing is as it is in the stories. Everything is sort of turned more macabre and ominous and strange and just generally twisted. Where the exception that we're going to have for this is that the kids are all 4th graders. They all know each other. They're from the same class. I have some starter things for where we kind of begin with, but we'll see where you guys want to go from there. So we'll try and make it a little more sandboxy than some of the stuff is presented in this. Now, as this is a Gauntlet game, we will be using the X card. The X card will be on the table for problematic material, things you want to object to, things you're not down with, all of that kind of thing. But let me ask you guys, what sort of tone or limits or such do you want on this? How dark are we going, or not dark? What's your preference?
I don't feel particularly strongly about a preference, but my tendency would be to go for, I guess, roughly Stranger Things level.
Okay.
Which can be creepy and scary, but it isn't downright abusive by and large. Okay. There's a few exceptions to that, but it's more hinted at than done directly.
Garrett, David, you cool with that?
Yeah. I guess a lot of it has to do with, like, are we telling the kind of story where we are supposed to make it out okay in the end, or are we not?
One of the things to think about the Grimm setting is that children can be heroes and they can do great things, but that is not certain. Okay. They can fall into the traps of things. So there is certainly risk here. But not that the world is completely overwhelming to them. The children are special because they have the power of imagination, and they have the ability to kind of walk outside the stories. But things can still get really bad for them, and they can get killed or transformed or imprisoned or whatnot.
Like, I can imagine this goes very metaphorical, like, and stands for something in the real world. And so, like, there's one thing about, like, children and going to school, which is part of my family background, which is like that. I have a grand uncle who got dragged out of school in Nazi times and got killed for his disabilities. Mm-hmm. And so having, like, an evil regime killing somebody totally innocent is a strong theme. I would like also to play with that if anytime something like that would happen in a role-playing game, but I might use the X card.
Okay, that is more than fair. Thank you for the heads up on that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions about that before we kind of talk a little bit about character creation and some of the details there? All right, so this is a game with just skills. They're called traits in this system. They're broken up into 3 types. We've got core traits, which are essentially your real basic fallback stats: cool, imagination, luck, muscle, and pluck. Pluck being willpower for this game. And then there are playground traits, which are more of the action-oriented traits. Seek is the spot and notice trait. And then we've got some study traits, which are essentially more trained and knowledge-based traits. The way this game works is when you have to do something, there is a grade level of difficulty. And essentially, I will say, okay, this is a third grader difficulty or a fourth grader difficulty. You'll look at what your grade is, and then you'll roll a d6. If you roll a 2 through 5, then you act at that grade level. So let's say, for example, our bully Simon has a muscle of 5th. A 2 through 5 in a roll means he's going to act for muscle at 5th grade level. If you roll a 6, it means it goes up 1 level, and that will continue to explode if you re-roll that and keep possibly getting more 6s. If you roll a 1, you're going to go down a level. So mostly you're going to be acting at your default score for a trait, but it can go up and it can go down. In some cases, like with specialty skills, you actually roll 2 dice. Any 6s you roll on those will explode upwards. It'll only go downwards if you roll all 1s. And that's just the basic stuff. Teamwork can add more dice to an attempt. If you can justify position or tools, you can get bonuses to your roll, increasing the grade level, that kind of thing. So you want to take time to talk about that. If you have time to do an action, you can kind of focus if you're not under pressure, and it can make it easier to do. I am super hand-wavy about skills, and I tend to go for fewer rolls. And I also tend to say if you can justify the use of a skill in a situation, if you can give me some fiction for it, I'm going to allow that to go, which is probably a little bit different than how the rules are written in the book. You will have an iconic trait. That's the trait that in some cases you'll have abilities that you can expend your iconic trait to power, but in general you can take the level of your iconic trait down to give yourself essentially a bonus to an action, essentially to raise it an effect up a grade level. All of you are going to have, right now you've got your stats here set, you're going to have 12 credits to spend. And the credits do this. You can raise one of your core traits for 3 credits, playground traits for 2, study traits for 1. So 3, 2, 1 is the cost, and you've got 12. That should allow you to tweak some of those abilities. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Some of the study traits I think I don't understand as a non-native speaker.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Or age, for example.
Yeah. Actually, Sherry said to me before we started, you should probably explain what 4-H means. 4-H is the sort of kids agricultural organization here in the States. So that has everything to do with sort of farming and outdoors and that kind of thing. Home ec is home economics. That means like cooking, cleaning, housework, all of that kind of thing. Questions about any of the other ones there?
Well, yeah, these are those I'm interested in. So
okay. Well, I'll just walk through real quick. Let me go through all of them just for those at home. Book learning, of course, is sort of scholarship. Gaming is if you know how to play D&D. If you have a very high level in that, you probably know how to play Dungeon World. So that's how that's measured. Home ec, as I said, is cooking, cleaning, sewing, all of that. Industrial arts is like woodworking, car repair, metalworking, all of that stuff. Country club is their way of saying diplomacy and wealth. Juvie stands for juvenile delinquent. So that's your essentially your crime skill. And then scouts is Boy Scouts. So that's everything for outdoorsmanship and tying knots and all of that kind of efforts. Other questions, Garrett?
Fine.
Okay.
I just want to clarify one thing. So for me, for instance, to buy my imagination from first to second is 3 points. From second to third would also be 3 points?
Yep.
All
3
right.
points across the board.
Okay.
Anybody have a question? You all have a number of abilities here. I have, by the way, tried to cut the text down on these rules here for your abilities. You may think to yourself, that doesn't look like they were cut down, but they were. So I have done that. Everybody's going to also get to pick a keepsake. This is an object that you have that when we in play, you can define it in play that it does something potent. You have a lighter that can shoot out a flame, or you have a skateboard that can go really fast. Essentially something that you have with you that you can describe a magical power for. So let me have you do those additions or not. Let's see if there are any choices. David, you'll need to pick between Hide and Juvie for your specialty.
Okay.
Write down names.
Can you clarify for me the difference between cool and pluck real quick?
Sure. Cool is actually social presence.
Got it.
So it's how cool you seem to other kids. Pluck is willpower, stamina, all of that.
Yeah.
You play so many games with so many different stat names and skill names. It's kind of crazy. Check if there's anything else. Okay. Does everybody have a name? Got Alex there. Okay. So you are fourth graders. That means that you're in the have crested from the sort of the middle of grade school on up. It means you probably have reduced recess time, which is a horror show in and of itself. We will imagine that this is sort of end of the school year, fourth grade, that we are getting into sort of that part between spring and summer when kids are getting anxious about things. So, Jason, how do you imagine Simon? He's a bully, right? Give me a physical description first.
Sure. So I grabbed a picture. It took a little bit of looking. So Simon is not actually that much bigger than other kids, but he is stronger and he is more aggressive. And they're fourth graders, so when they say he's crazy, they might be exaggerating, but then again, maybe not. So he gets by an awful lot on just ill temper and personality. He's not a bad looking kid, but he's a little punked up with the spiky hair. And I was thinking his keepsake is probably like a hoodie that's slightly too big for him, but it probably has some kind of band which is way too adult to be in the school, but he wears it anyway. And he tends to scowl quite a lot.
Within the school, is there an incident that is sort of legendary when they talk about Simon?
Yeah. It was actually in second grade when there was a older kid, we'll say a fifth grader, and Simon leapt on the kid and bit his nose hard enough that I took like a chunk out of it. There's various things that people say about that kid was trying to push Simon around, or that Simon just went off on him for no reason. And depending on who's telling it, there's all kinds of things that might be said about it. But it definitely happens.
As a bully, is he a bully that is making demands of other people, or is he just reacting badly, or is there something else to that?
He's not like demanding money and such. Like, he mostly reacts badly. His first reaction is to resort to physical violence as a response. Whether or not that happens immediately or later, he's not stupid or anything like that. But, well, I mean, you could call him stupid. That
right.
would be your choice. Yeah, it's more about the way that he interacts with the world rather than demanding that other kids give them their lunch money. But it's about demanding respect, I think, for him.
Okay. I'm going to give you one last question here. How do you imagine his home? Is he coming from a wealthy family and he's spoiled? Is he coming from a poor family? Is it middle class and he's just acting out, or is there some combination or some spin you want to put on that?
I think we're going to go with poor single parent family. I'm vaguely thinking of someone I know for this, so I'm going to say that it's just a mom, and she has limited time to be able to come in and meet, especially if she doesn't think that there's something that merits things.
Okay. Sounds good. Garrett, tell me about Luna, our dreamer, and tell me how we pronounce that last name you've put on there.
Luna Lichtenstein has like a father who is an actor from Paris, and who like has signed a contract in the town we are playing in, and so she moved with her father there. Her mother, though, is a wise woman from Nepal, and this is where she also lived before, like up in the mountains. She was homeschooled, but her mother couldn't bear going with her and is going through a difficult phase, which makes Luna very unhappy because she misses her mother, and her mother is not able to take care of her at the moment. Neither is her father, really. So she's in school, she's not talking. She's sitting there. She doesn't understand the concept of somebody standing in the front and talking. You shall learn that until the end of the week. She doesn't know yet how to survive there.
What does she look like?
Well, she has dreamy eyes. She seems to be somewhere else all the time. She has wild brown hair. And she's wearing something her father bought her in Paris, which doesn't fit her at all. It's like some from Galerie Lafayette. And he didn't know what else to buy because like the clothing she was wearing before really don't fit to society.
So as a dreamer, what is her imaginative space? Is there a thing that she's focused on? She's in 4th grade. Is there something that is important to her thinking? A book, a movie, something else?
Well, what she has read is the Grimm's fairy tales, and beside the stories from her mother's home country, these story tales are fascinating to her because they are also a lot about children losing their parents, getting lost in a forest, traveling long distances without any help from adults. And so she's very fascinated, and especially she likes the mountains and snow.
How long has she been at school? I mean, is this a relatively recent transition?
I would say it's half a year.
Okay. So she has been there for a while.
Yes.
Has she developed any friends?
Not really. I mean, if anybody of you is like, when I see an outsider, I might get along with them. Surely not with a bully. But who knows?
Who knows? He'll be the first one in the pickle vat when everything goes down. So it's all good. All right. That sounds good. David, tell us about Alex Pock Jones.
So he was Alex until 3rd grade when he got chicken pox, and it went bad, and he couldn't help but itching, and it got all scarred, and some people started calling him Pock, and he's just kind of like withdrawn since then. And he like just hit his growth spurt, so now he's all awkward and like he's got a pockmarked face. Now he's all tall and awkward, like and skinny because he didn't have that much weight before he like sprouted up. And like everyone knows, like at gym when they all have to take off their shoes to get on the mats, like everyone knows whose his shoes are because his feet are freaking huge. So it's just one thing after another for Pac. So he's withdrawn, and he's taken an interest in lighting small fires, and that's how he ended up in some trouble. So that's why he's got some high juvie skill.
Was that for the wanting to watch the fires, wanting to watch the flames, or was it, connected with fireworks? How do you imagine that?
I think he was probably trying to like get in with like Simon, so Simon would stop picking on him, because Simon's really the ringleader in all this. So he brought some like matches and some fireworks to school one day, and it went poorly.
So you get tall, huge feet. There is that part. I have a nephew who is like 6'6", and his shoes were expensive, and they had to go through multiples of them. What's the shoe situation in Alex's household? Is that a no problem? Is that a source of tension? Is that it just happens and you don't even notice?
I think that like right now he's wearing his dad's shoes. but it's like rapidly approaching that those are going to be too small. But right now it's like awesome because his dad's accumulated shoes throughout his life, so he's just got shoes to spare. But they're not cool shoes; they're old people shoes. And anytime he thinks that he can get away with like a cool shoe, like he thought penny loafers were cool for about, an entire trip to school until he got to class, and then penny loafers were not cool anymore.
Fair enough. What is the deal with your mom and dad?
Oh, everything's okay. Like they're still happily married. There's three of us. I'm the middle child, so they always say the middle child kind of gets ignored and left by the wayside as one's preparing for higher education and the other one's a baby. So I'm just kind of chugging along, making my own way. As long as I keep getting B's and C's, like no one bats an eye.
That seems like a good way to handle that. All right. So I'm going to set up the situation. We'll get rolling on that, and at some point we'll take a bio break. But let's get into it. You three are on a class trip. Essentially, it's sort of the end of the school year, and they're doing those trips to kind of eat up time. And some of the kids, the younger kids, got to go to a water park, and the older kids got to go to the Museum of Science and Industry, which has cool things where you put a quarter in and you get a wax toy molded out of that, and it's pretty sweet. You three and the rest of your class essentially are going to the Hillsborough Nature Center. And it's at Hillsborough Park. Jason, what's the most striking feature about the Hillsborough Park or the Hillsborough Nature Center?
I think that to get there, you actually go over a fairly long bridge. Like the nature center is actually on an island, so you go over this metal bridge that makes the horrible as the bus goes over it. So you can't actually talk while you're on the bridge because all you hear is "vrr," but it's quite a nice view of the wetlands around it.
Wetlands, and we've got the island, and there is a decent stand of woods there. So they've got some trails back into that on the island. Let me ask you, Luna, your teacher who's guiding you here, who are they? What's their name? What do they look like?
Oh, there's Miss Summer. Miss Summer is like having a very bad haircut. Like she has too much hair on her head. She looks like a lion. And sometimes she behaves like a lion. And when she's getting angry or unsatisfied with something, and that's often on her side, actually, not the kid's side, then she gets loud and her voice is much deeper. And I immediately imagine her to turn into a lion next moment. And there's Mr. Campelli, and Mr. Campelli is from Italy originally, and he's a rare beast because he's the only male teacher at the school at the moment, and everybody is a fan of him because he's very nice, he's very gentle, and so everybody, I mean the other teachers, the kids are okay with him because we don't have such a good impression from him, like because he's very fast, the way he talks fast.
And so there is that splitting up of the groups. Each there's sort of a count off 1, 2, 1, 2, and they will split the groups up, and the bus driver stays with the bus, and you and about 8 other kids will find yourselves then walking on the trails here. Yep. And what's the least pleasant part of this whole hiking on the trails, David?
For me personally, or for everyone?
Whichever.
So I think for everyone, the miserable part of this is they have like whoever's leading us, like a guide, is constantly stopping us and explaining something about nature that either is incredibly obvious or is so technical that none of us care or will remember. For me personally, it's that when these frequent stops happen, like everyone like kind of talks to their neighbor and like jokes about what's being said, and I don't have a neighbor to joke with right now.
And I imagine that Mrs. Summer has one of those like iPod things with the little headsets, and that's what she's stopping off to read, you know, the little text when the beep comes up on things. And this is moss. Moss grows on trees. It's an important part of our nature's ecosystem, you know, and she's doing that kind of thing. And you get a little bit bored. Somehow it is the three of you that are kind of at the back of the line. She's more concentrated on just getting it right and keeping up with the timing of the headset. So she's paying less attention to you kids. And as you're moving along, the three of you kind of pause for a second because you kind of looking around. And as you come around the bend here of the trail, you don't see the kids anymore or the teacher. They went around a bend, you followed, and they're not there. What do you do?
I think the first thing that Simon does is say, "Where'd they go?" Just angrily. And I suppose accusatorially, and because I pick on Pock, I'll yell at Pock.
Just like, what? Like, I was just learning about the moss and how it, you know, like grows on one side of the tree.
What? I don't care about the moss. Where'd everyone go?
Well,
Was this some kind of joke? They left me here with the freak and the geek?
I mean, they can't have gotten that far. Just follow the path.
Let's follow the path.
I think we should go back to the bus and just wait for him there. This is a waste of our time anyway.
If we go back to the bus, then they're going to come back and they're going to know that we got separated, and then we're going to get in trouble. And I don't want to get in trouble anymore because we just constantly have to just sit around and sit in the detention room, and it's just the worst ever. And my mom always says that if you're a bad kid and you end up in detention, then you're going to end up bad for life, and then you're going to go to juvie, and then after you go to juvie...
Well, your mom is stupid, and I don't care what she says.
Hey.
But I don't want to get in trouble when you get eaten by wolves.
Can
Like that.
you please, you two, can you please shut up for a moment? I think I heard a noise.
Did you just tell me to shut up?
Yes, I hear a noise. There's something. I heard something. Maybe we can just follow the noise. If you continue talking, I can't listen.
If you tell me to shut up one more time, I'm going to clock you right in the face.
You shouldn't hit girls, Simon.
She barely counts. She's not even American.
No, I'm not, and I'm happy not to be.
Oh, so now you're calling me stupid, and you're talking about how my country isn't great.
Simon, I know
you're not winning any friends, and this is why no one likes you.
I know that nobody likes me.
Well, now you know
guys are
what.
probably a little surprised because you've been pretty loud here. Your voice is raised. No one's come back to see what the shouting was about. No one's followed up on that. You're still here alone on the path.
Fine, Simon. You go back to the bus, and me and Luna will go forward, and we'll find him.
No, because then I'll get in trouble for you guys, like, slipping and drowning or something. If
you're gonna come with us, then you need to chill out. Like, it's not Luna's fault she's not an American.
I mean, I'm sure if she pushed harder, she could probably get the paperwork done and be an American. Like, that's all you have to really want. What will you? Like, how would you know?
Well, I never had to do any paperwork. Did you do paperwork?
Well, no, because we were born here. Don't you know anything?
So
I walk
Luna,
off.
yeah, not to ask.
I heard a noise.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
So you'll proceed on down the path a ways. And I mean, it goes deeper into the woods. Probably see the clouds go past the sun, then come back and kind of moving along. Why don't you, let me see here. Why don't you make a 4-H check? Actually, no, yes. Let's say a scout check here is actually probably more appropriate here. So we can roll in the Hangouts. This is just to see how it works.
Yeah. What dice? How many? How many I have, right? It's a pool.
So it'd be 1d6.
For my scouts?
And you have a 4th grade in Scouts, so you roll 1d6, and we see what happens then.
All right. I get it too. This is not a 1 and not a 6.
So you act at 4th grade level.
Yes.
Because that's so sensical, game designer. Anyway, so you know a little bit about the outdoors. I mean, you've grown up in the great outdoors, and I imagine that probably some of what you've read has been those little nature guides and things. And definitely as you move along the path, the vegetation looks different. Plants that you're like, well, that doesn't belong here. That's not for this climate. We haven't seen any others of that. It's very odd.
Are the others still in reach?
Well, let's pause. You two, the back and forth continues. At what point do you notice that Luna has gone ahead?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think normally David is the last one to be noticed because he's the outcast, but he was kind of provoking Simon, so I think Simon harries him until he notices, basically.
Yeah. I noticed somewhere between your mom's really, really, really stupid and your mom's more dumb than your penny loafers. And that's when I noticed Luna's not here.
And she's clearly gone up the path. Do you want to follow?
Yeah, I think I just start like walking that way, like even though Simon's probably still insulting me.
Luna, you will, as you kind of stop and turn, and you'll probably hear Simon's voice getting closer as the other two seem to be following up and will reach where you are.
Oh, I don't know what I would prefer, scary nature or Simon around me again. When they get closer, so they can still see me, I keep the distance. I continue walking.
Okay.
And I think I start to like try and like trot to catch up. I'm like, hey, Luna, wait up.
And as you're kind of trotting up, as Luna, as you're walking, there is that bit where, again, the clouds kind of go over the sun, But this time they don't clear. And so now the sort of the light that you guys were getting here on the trail, the light that you were walking by here in the woods has significantly dimmed. And the three of you are on this darkened path.
Wow. Cock. Where are we?
And now it's going to rain on us. Great.
I mean, there's not much we can do about it now. How have we not caught up to the class yet? This is so weird. Was there like a branch in the path? I don't remember seeing one.
I don't know.
This is not part of the park.
What do
How
you
do
mean
you
it's
know?
not part of the park? It's an island.
But this tree doesn't belong here.
What do you
Doesn't look
mean?
at all.
Does it look like a freaky foreign tree or something?
This must be very old. This tree. And they can't be that huge. They simply don't grow like that in your country.
And neither of you guys are particularly great at outdoorsman-y stuff, so
Not really.
sounds legit, you know.
I'm pretty sure Luna learned it while she was still in her own country eating berries or whatever they do there because they don't have real food or supermarkets. So,
So you guys are on. The three of you, you're close. You got enough light that you can see one another. But I mean, the woods are dark. The path is dim now. Move forward, go back, go off the trail.
Let's go back.
you mean like I wanted to do in the first place? All right.
I don't care, Simon.
That's
But you wanted to go. Hawk, let's
Yeah.
go. Come.
well.
we
Let's.
find the class.
So forward, back.
Back towards the bus, I guess.
Okay. You will start to move along this path. Again, harder to see it now with the way that the bit of light is coming through the clouds and through the trees. And it's more like being in the woods at dusk when the light is just starting to give out. And you will realize that you've still got the path, but there's also a feeling like the woods and the trees and the grass and the bushes that are there are kind of pressing in on where you're at. And you've gone quite a ways, like 10, 15 minutes. And you should have been back at one of the marker posts, one of the signs. There's a big one, had a little call box and thing on it in the woods. You should have been back there by now, but you haven't reached it.
And we're lost. Great. I wouldn't be lost if you guys hadn't distracted me when we were walking through here and riled me up by talking bad about America and calling me stupid.
Hey, maybe if you just owned your own problems. I mean, we're all in this together, all right? There's no point pointing fingers. What are we going to do now?
I can find our way back.
Why don't we?
Because it sure doesn't seem like anywhere that I've seen before.
Why don't we climb up
I
one of
think-
the trees? We can climb the tree, and then we'll be able to see where everyone's hiding from us.
Simon, you will fall off like you fell off the slide last week. Come on.
Yeah. So with that, Simon like spits, scowls, and starts climbing a tree.
Okay. Let's say this is a little bit tough for you because it is you're stepping off the path. You're going into on one of these trees, and it is dark out. So it's a little harder. So let's say that's a scamper 4th level.
Okay. So I have a scamper of 3rd, and I'm rolling 1d6.
1d6.
Is that right?
Yep.
All right. I got a 4.
Okay. So you have a scamper of 3rd grade. So you don't make it. So essentially you get a ways up, but will fall back down with a crash and will make quite a lot of noise. When
Stupid foreign trees.
What are you doing while he is doing that climbing, Alex?
I think that I'm just like looking for moss, since we just learned that it only grows on one side of the tree. So at least I can figure out which direction like north is. I don't know what I'm going to do with that information, but it seems like it might be important.
And you can go over and find some moss, and its color is not right. I mean, it's not that verdant green. It's more of a black green when you kind of crouch down, and you kind of look at it, and you realize that there must be some kind of bug colony it's on, because it's kind of undulating slightly. The moss is just kind of moving here, not still, but it's just kind of waves and shifting a little bit.
That's weird. I'll poke it with a stick.
All right. When you do, it actually pops. And there's this kind of hissing sound, and like almost like a yellow smoke comes up and out of it as this deflates. And it smells like garbage cans left out in the summer sun, how that smell kind of clings to the bottom of it. And you'll find yourself gagging a little there.
Ugh. Guys, come look at this. This moss smells like barf.
Oh, Puck, what did you eat? Oh.
It's this moss. Poke it with a stick.
Luna, what about you?
Well, I was thinking about my, how it's called, like the keep or
The keepsake? Okay, yeah.
keepsake. Yeah.
A special
I thought-
object.
Yes, and I thought about having like from my mother, the Nepalese wise woman, and a Nepalese spirit pendulum with me.
Okay.
And I can ask that pendulum questions, and it will go in one direction if it says yes, and the other if it says no. And I could also maybe find the direction from here. And like, so I want to ask the pendulum in which direction we should go. I hope the others don't see me because they will think it's rubbish.
So you can do that. You'll raise that up. And what does the actual pendulum bit look like? You're muted.
It's a little, there's a gem and then some gold
Okay.
wrapped around it. So it looks like a heart with a gem in the middle.
And there is that bit where it kind of is there, and it kind of starts to do the movement, and then it will start spinning faster and faster and faster and faster.
I drop
And
it.
then there's a, grab your hand up, stop the pendulum.
Yes.
Felt like it was going to fly off.
Ooh. Put it in the pocket again. The others might have seen me.
And as you guys are there on the path, and now, Simon, maybe you've gone over to look at this horrible barf moss. You guys will hear, kids, Simon, Alex, Luna, kids, from the direction you're going, actually.
Finally.
Sounds like Mrs. Summer.
Let's run.
Yeah.
All right. You can take off, sprint down the path, and you will come up. Who do you imagine is the person who's first, the fastest of you?
Normally I'd say Simon, but Pock has got way longer legs, so I guess it depends on whether or not Pock trips over his own big feet and oversized shoes, or
No, I've got my my dad's old PF Flyers, so I'm freaking hauling.
Okay.
If scamper counts, I'm also pretty fast.
Oh yeah. So you guys are both kind of taking off pretty fast. Luna's probably going to have the edge on you in that because she's just thin and wiry. So Luna, let's say that you're at the front. You two are kind of coming up behind, and you'll see Mrs. Summer, and you can see that they're in the half light. It's hard to tell exactly who it is of the other kids, but you'll see some of the other kids are with her. Why don't you make a seek check for me?
I'm super glad Luna's in the front because I just looked at what Luna's seek is.
Yeah, and I have a 6. I rolled
Okay.
a 6. It means I can roll again, right?
Yes, it means you go up one grade level and get to roll again.
Oh,
You're already at 6th grade level.
another
Okay.
6.
You get to roll again. Okay, you're at 7th grade level.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Another 6.
Don't use up all of our 6.
You're eighth
I
grade
don't-
level.
Okay.
There we go. So it's too bad you weren't rolling for D&D stats. Anyway, so you bring yourself up short because there's something wrong here. You see Mrs. Summer. It's hard to make out, but you hear her. She's, "I'll find you at last. Come to me, children. Come." And her voice is just a little bit off. And when you kind of step up close, you get this smell that wafts from her. It smells like yeast, like fermenting yeast, like beer fermenting, like yeast bread. What do?
I whistle to the others. Stop! Stop! Don't go any further. This is not Mrs. Summer.
Okay, so she says that. What do you two do?
I think I stopped just out of puzzlement. What do you mean, Luna? Of course it's her.
This is not her, no.
I think Simon slows to a walk and looks suspicious and goes, "Where's the rest of the class?"
We're gathering them.
Simon,
Come.
stop! Stop! Simon, this is a trap.
What?
Come on.
Why would Miss Summer set a trap?
It's not her. Somebody else. Something else. Simon, come and hit me. Like you stupid American, you damn bully. You asshole. Come
Ooh.
here to punch.
It's like Simon actually doesn't even think about it at that point. He just turns his specs.
All
Luna.
right. So you do that, and you see that sort of engagement, Alex, and you will see that figure kind of trundling forward of Miss Summer. And because Luna has stopped you, there's enough distance between you and it, and there's a little bit of light. You'll see when she comes forward, it's shaped like Miss Summer, and it's wearing Miss Summer's clothes, maybe a button or two out of place. But the face is kind of puffy and dough-like, and you can see that instead of eyes, it's like someone has taken beetles and stuck them in the sockets. And there's just this smell of yeast and bread. And she says, come, we're going to the baker man. Come. What do you do?
Guys. And I just like start like grabbing them and then like pointing at the beetles and like pushing them like, let's get out of here.
Simon, what about you?
So I had literally just hit Luna, and then then Hawk is pulling us away. So
I try to grab your hand, Simon.
I am a little surprised by the sudden change in things. I think Simon goes with them and goes, "What the?" So,
all right, let's do this. If all three of you are running from the doughy Mrs. Summer and the two doughy classmates, we'll do this as a scamper check. It looks like Luna has the highest scamper, and we'll do this as a teamwork thing. So we'll give her gives you another die. So you get to roll 2 dice. Does that seem good with you guys?
yep.
Okay, and what
I
did you
rolled
get?
a 1 and a 6, so the 1 doesn't count in teamwork, right?
So yeah, you don't have to worry about the 1 because if you roll both ones, then we would roll down. So you get to roll the 6 again.
Yes, the 6. And do I roll 2 dice again?
I know you'll just roll the 1 die that got the 6 on.
All right. That's a 2.
Okay, so that's still a good score. So the three of you are tearing down the path. As soon as you guys start to move, this thing starts trundling, and you can kind of hear the slick, like the dough skin is kind of wet, and so it kind of pulls against her clothing as she's running, and you can kind of hear her wet, doughy thighs rubbing together as she chases you, and the kids are running behind too, trying to catch up, but you guys will leave them quickly in the dust and take off down the path, and run until you can see some light up ahead and kind of break out into a clearing. And that's where we're going to take our bio break. And we'll give you 5.
All right.
Thank you.
eh? For anyone watching at home, I'm not really a bully. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard swerve from your last character. I like that.
Yeah. Not even what I was initially intending, but then I ended up with a dreamer and an outcast who stated at the start that I had been picking on him. And I'm like, well, here I am.
There we go. So your Urban Shadows game went well? You were happy with it?
Yeah. You know, we've got a lot of players there, and it's a first game, and some of them are new to the system, so they're still picking things up. We got to be sure to get more into using debts as a form of commerce next time,
But
which we weren't as much.
It didn't feel crazy with 6 players?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, it was a lot to juggle, but I could bring people in together. I had a little trouble because I've got a Revenant and a Spectre in that game, and they're a little tricky to bring in because the Spectre literally has to choose to interact with the world.
Yeah.
And the Revenant is on a path towards vengeance. Like, that's who they are. And, you know, I want to do more than that, but for the first game at least, I wanted to give them a chance to really shine in that. So keeping people connected and feeling like they have a reason to work together or spend debts on each other or whatever, a little bit tricky, but it came together pretty well, mostly by moving the spotlight around, which is why I said, that's why I put it as hashtag things I learned from Richard Rogers.
Yeah.
But because that's where I've gotten better about spotlight just because of him. So.
All right, we just got some support. Like
Excellent. We got
like my
backup.
son has given me this. I was just telling my son, who is 5, how difficult it is to play 10-year-olds. It's one of the most challenging role-playing stuff I've done. And he says, why is it difficult? And I said, because kids are not simply stupid adults, but they think differently. And yeah, the whole world. They know so much already. And well, so sorry to interrupt you.
No.
No, that's fine. I'm happy to talk about kids.
Yeah.
One of the principal differences is, you know, when kids are upset or really happy about something, we have a tendency to see them as overreacting. But the thing is, psychologically, that's literally the worst they've ever felt or the best they've ever felt. Like when their friend hits them, there can be nothing worse than that because there's never been anything worse than that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yes. Yeah.
No perspective.
So our dinosaur friends.
All right.
Stay with us. Yeah.
So, Simon, do you have an idea what the keepsake that you carry is?
Oh, me? I've got the hoodie.
The hoodie, that's right. And what about you, Alex?
Can we just say fireworks, or is that not keepsakey enough?
That's fine. Yeah.
You could also have the lighter.
Well, yeah, I'm sure matches are part of fireworks.
That seems fair enough to me. The 3 of you will break out of the woods. The light will hit you. I mean, it's suddenly from this darkness to this light. And you come out and you are most definitively no longer on an island. You'll see that there is a road just up ahead, and it has a fork. So it goes off to your left and to your right, and then it also continues straight ahead. To your left, it looks like kind of a rolling plains, but it looks weirdly patchwork almost like when you see the ground from an airplane, like there are blocks and patches that way, different colors, different textures to the ground. Ahead, the straight path, you can see that there are mountains. That should not be there. And then off to your left, to your right, he said, because he gets that wrong every time, you can maybe see like there might be water, like in the distance there might be a lake. You get a little bit of that ripple. But the other thing you'll see at this crossroads is there are a set of wooden scaffoldings, and 3 or 4 of them, and they're of varying height, poor construction. You can see bent nails, rusty bits. It looks like people had no idea how to construct something, built these. But they go up, they have a little overhang, and you can see that each one has a noose, and you can see that dangling in the wind there on each of these scaffoldings is a scarecrow hung by its neck.
I think I just sit down and start crying. Like,
Simon turns to Luna and goes, "Your freaky foreign magic brought us here. What did you do?"
I feel like paralyzed, and I hear somebody shouting into my ear, but I don't know what they say and what's going on. And I look around, say, this is fairy tale.
Oh my God. I should have let the wolves get you.
We don't belong here. We need to get out here.
So Simon's like, fine. How do we get out? Can you make your magic work and get us out of here? Whatever you did to get us here?
Can we first take care for Pock? I think
He's fine. He's just sitting. He does this sometimes.
I kneel down to Pock and they take you in my arms.
yeah.
A little awkwardly.
And I'm just like loudly crying, like not quietly crying. And I just start talking. I'm like, we're not supposed to be here. How did we get here? What's wrong with the teacher? What did they do to the teacher?
I'm going to rip off a piece of the tower so that I have a club with a rusty nail in it.
Okay. Let's have you let's have you make a muscle check for that. How about?
All right. Simon is pretty muscular.
Okay.
I got a 5, so
Okay.
I'm at a 5th grade level.
Okay, so yeah, you'll yank a piece off of this, and you've got a good-sized chunk, got a good-sized weapon, and there is that bit where that scaffolding kind of creaks over, and that scarecrow will kind of sway in the wind, probably the tips of its feet, the straw kind of brush across your hair. And when it does that, a mouse probably runs out from it across your scalp and then down to the grass below, takes off. So Alex, how long does it take her to get you calm?
I think that it's not so much a matter of time as it's just like a matter of, like, at first I just needed the comfort, but then I needed like a call to action. Like, she said something like, we need to do this. Like, I don't know. What do you think? You say, Luna, that's kind of a call to action that gets me to wipe my nose and stand up and dust myself off.
This wasn't our teacher. They are unharmed. We got lost. We are in this land. And we need to find our way out again. Quickly.
Yeah, and I dry my eyes and I wipe my nose and I look her in her eyes and I'm like, do you really think that we can?
I don't know. But at least we have Simon with us. If something comes, he can beat them up, as he always does. And you have your fireworks, don't you?
And I just start like nodding. And I pull out the matchbook, and I think it's like, it's a little advertisement for like a bail bond place.
Okay.
And that's where my dad works. So I got it like from his office, and I feel better just like kind of holding it. And then I stand up and I'm ready to go.
Couldn't we become like the lords of this land and rule it or something? I read a book where that happened. I had to go back to real life though, which sucked.
Simon, the problem with you is and your friends that you're watching too much television. Don't pretend to have read books.
You don't know me. I read books sometimes.
This is new to me. I wouldn't expect you to read books, honestly.
Well, I'm full of surprises.
I have this pendulum, and it might show us the way out. It's from my mother.
What's a pendulum?
A pendulum is. I show you. And I hold this talisman up. It will start move if we ask it for directions.
Simon looks at it. He's like, so it's like a compass for foreigners.
It looks more like it's something like magical.
Fuck yes, it is. We are in a magical land. Why don't you want to understand, Simon? Why are you so cruel?
How am I being cruel? I'm just trying to understand. Am I wrong? Is it something like a compass? No.
I turn away from you.
It is like a compass. You're just trying to pick on me and feel smart.
Try to focus on the pendulum that it starts, but as long as he's talking, I don't feel anything.
Think you're so special just because you come from another country.
I imagine you now swinging that stick back and forth, kind of just to exercise your energy.
He is, but he's also looking back towards the woods, because if one of those doe kids come over, he's just smacking him right in the face. He's not keen to go against a giant bread teacher, but he's pretty sure he could take the doe kids.
You're kind of standing there and won't hear like people coming or the sounds of figures moving through the woods, but like in the distance, you maybe hear like the sound of like calliope music from the woods, like that. Maybe they're doing like that Turkey in the Straw song that they play on ice cream trucks, that sort of like ting ding 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 going on and kind of coming distance, like kind of clearly trying to call you back.
Simon's like, now that I saw in a movie.
So, Luna, you want to invoke your keepsake, right?
Yes.
Okay. All you need to do to have that work is to mark your imagination down one level. Essentially, make a note for yourself that it is 5 normally.
Right.
And it will move. And when you've used this before, it's done that thing where it kind of takes a while and, you know, eventually settles, and you kind of have to kind of watch and read which way it goes. But here, when you concentrate on it, it will swing towards the path, towards the mountains. And it'll kind of keep doing that.
This is powerful here. Hey, Hawk, look at this. It's moving. It's showing us the directions. It's guiding us home. We will find a way out. Let's go.
Yeah, and I'm all about it.
All right. So, Alex, you'll get yourself together, brush yourself off. Feeling a little more together now?
Yeah, I think so.
So you two kind of set the direction. Simon, are you following?
No, I'm leading.
Okay. Charge in front, stick raised high.
Yep.
So, Alex, how do you feel about the fact that Simon has a big stick with a rusty nail in it now?
I just don't want him to like get mad and try and hit us with it, but you know, maybe it's not such a bad idea. This place is so weird. If I see a stick or something, I'll probably grab it, like a walking stick. But, you know, walking stick, you can hit somebody with it like a bat if you have to.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing to find along the road. Is it a nice walking stick?
Oh, I think it's like a branch. Just,
okay.
It's, you know, like 2 inches diameter. So fairly good sized stick, but I don't know. It might be kind of dry.
Yeah, let's say it's goodly sized, a little bit dry. You probably will notice maybe there's a little bit of blood on one end. Maybe it was used for something violent at one point.
Well, that's weird.
And you three can move along the road. As you move, you will note the dimming of the sun, of it going down, and you will note that when you kind of look at the sun, especially as it's kind of getting down, dipped towards the horizon, you can almost make out, you can actually kind of look at it, and you can almost make out like a face. Like a kind of a leering, open-mouthed face there, kind of watching you. And as it dips below the horizon and sort of it gets a little bit dimmer, you'll definitely see the eyes become more manifest there. As it's getting on dusk, you will see up ahead, there is a building. Kind of come over a little bit of a rise, and you see that there is a large black building. It's maybe 2 or 3 stories tall. It's very much like a cube, and clearly black, clearly metal. You can actually see there kind of these like big rivets on the side of it, and you will see that all around it there's fences and barbed wire kind of circling around. There is like a little window in a door, like a little slot. You can just see a little bit of light coming out of that. So there definitely is a front door to this place. But the road seems to go on past it, but it is getting dark.
Simon says, "Sweet." Then this is going to just go up and knock on the door, like rap it with his stick.
And I'm gonna like hide behind something when he does that, and my eyes get real wide. And I'll grab Luna.
Yeah, I'm happy to be dragged away.
So what's here that's easy to hide behind?
I think there is like a fallen log.
Okay. Fallen log looks like, as you kind of look around, someone has gone to a lot of trouble to kind of make this area around the building into a kind of a no man's land. With barbed wire, you probably will see that off the path here, there's actually some pits that have been set up. They've got kind of a loose covering on them. It looks more like weather has caused the covering to collapse in on them. But this whole place has this weird, old man keep out vibe to it. Big metal door, Simon. Kind of tung, 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 tung.
Clong, 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 clong.
Probably to hit it
Clong,
again.
clong, clong, clong.
And you will hear dimly, because the door seems like it's pretty thick on the other side, like a scraping. And then the little slat, the little window things, a little bit of light, kind of opens a little bit, and you'll hear, "Who is it?"
Simon, some freaky bread witch tried to eat me.
Bread witch? Is that like a sandwich?
I think it's a witch made out of bread. I don't know. I'm kind of new here. It's late. You look like you're pretty well fortified against the freakiness that's out here. So, you want to let us in?
So Simon says for me to let you in. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Hawk, we need to get him away from the door. She might be an evil witch or something.
I'm like, shh.
Show, raise up. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Now. And the other side, turn them over. All right. I hear a as it shuts the slat, and then you'll hear like the sound of multiple locks moving. That sort of and then the door cracks open, and the door's a good several inches thick, and you will see this pig has a little suit on, has a little like watch fob, has little pince glasses on, kind of shaky. He's on his hind legs. He's got little pants, and he's like, quick, come in before. I mean, he might be out there. Come in.
And so I'm gonna look at the log. I'm like, come on, you want to stay out there all night? And Simon just goes in.
And I'll just make like eye contact with Luna.
Yes.
And do you nod or shake your head?
Let's get him away. We run. Okay, let's run. To the door.
Yeah, and I just grab your hand and like go running for the door.
Okay.
Probably freak the pig out.
Yeah, the pig man,
Yes.
Pig is and kind of staggers back when he sees you two come running. And he kind of clutches at his chest, feigning a heart attack as you come running in. And when you're in, he will immediately push against this door, slamming it shut. There's like with a finality to it, and starts pushing these things in the way, locking these things down. Inside, very pleasant. Little carpet, little Arabian carpet here, couch, sofa, chairs. See, there's a little fireplace. Got a little kitchen set up over there. It's like a little library. And he kind of turns around and goes, oh, you didn't say you had other people with you there. It's maybe something you could have told me, not scared the dickens out of me. And you see him bend over and pick up this book and puts it off to the side. Tale of Two Cities. Oh, and yes. Who are you?
I'm Simon. That's Pac. That's Luna.
Who are you?
What are you?
That's a pig.
It's not a pig.
What?
I beg to differ. I am a porcine sentient. Yes, I am.
See, you don't always with the assumptions. Clearly,
my name is Reginald, and yes, this is my house. Come and sit down.
What are you so afraid of, Reginald? You've got crazy kinds of barriers out there and things.
He looks around and he kind of comes forward, sort of click clack on his rear hooves as he walks, and he will lean kind of close to you and he will say, "The wolf."
and then Simon goes, "I told you, the wolf. The whole time I told you I could have left you to the wolves, but I didn't."
You
And
saw
now
the
you're
wolf?
just- No, but I knew. I knew.
Wait, how close is he?
Look, here's my question. Why don't you have a telescope? Like, you've got all the protections here. Why didn't you set up something so that if you're going to be in a fort, you need to look on the outside? Right? So why don't you have a telescope?
Because this is fairy tale land, Salmon? This is not like our school laboratory or something.
He's got pop rivets. He could have gotten a telescope.
Well,
know that.
Mr.
criticism of my architectural choices. Why don't you all sit down? Can I have you all sit down now, so you're not moving around and making me nervous by moving around?
Sure. Mr. Reginald.
You can just call me Reginald.
All right. Reginald, where we come from, there's a story about 3 pigs and a wolf.
They know the story then. Yeah. And you actually see him tear kind of roll down his little cheek.
Simon will be like, real sensitive, Pac.
Well, I had
Simon,
to
shut
know.
up.
Well, do the math. Who was the one who's here in the fortified place? What do you think happened?
You must be hungry. You 3.
And a glass of water. If you have.
Let me fix you something. And he clearly kind of choked up, and he walks off into a kitchen. You'll hear the sound of pots and pans and things.
I'm like, wait, Reginald, I didn't mean to upset you. Maybe I can help. I can help.
All right.
I'll go in the kitchen. And...
Okay. He has a nice kitchen. He has a little water pump. He has vegetables here. He will like carrots and potatoes, and he will ask you to clean those.
Okay.
And he kind of focuses in. You see him getting like herbs and things together. He's got a big pot. See him take the lid off. He takes this stone off the shelf, drops that in, and then start putting herbs and things in there.
And I just I'm trying to help him as best I can. I'll clean the potatoes, and if he wants them like cut up or something, I'll cut them up or whatever he asks me to do.
That would be good. I do not have the dexterity that I once had in my little fingers.
Yeah, I look at his hands. Does he?
They are like pig hooves, sort of finger things. They don't look like they would be particularly dexterous.
Okay. Yeah.
And he will calm down during this process. He stops shaking. He's clearly focuses in on getting food. You'll see him pull a loaf of bread out of the oven, puts that on. He gets little pig oven mitts, takes the bread out, puts that down, gets a slab of butter, takes the vegetables once you've cut them, puts them in the pot, and essentially does like a 10 count, and then starts ladling out these big steaming bowls of some kind of soup.
Yeah, and I'm like, I read A Tale of Two Cities last year in 3rd grade.
It's a wonderful book.
It's pretty good. Luna, don't you think Reginald has a really nice house and library here?
Yes. I'm happy to be here. This place feels so dangerous, Mr. Reginald.
Oh, it is. It's deadly. Filled with deadly peril.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So thank you for letting us in. And I say sorry for Simon. But he can be nice too.
I knocked while you were hiding.
Well, I'm sure Reginald knows it's the only sensible thing to do is hide.
Absolutely. This I know. If you're in the outside world, hiding is your best way to go. And then getting indoors and building something very sturdy. And that's what you do. So he will set a table with forks and spoons and nice linen napkins and big bowls of vegetable soup that smell delicious. Somehow the vegetables have cooked and are softened already. Puts the slab of bread out there for you. And he will say, so you aren't children, are you?
And I look at everyone and I'm like, hold on. Did anyone else read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
That was the name of the book. Yeah. And then they rule the world.
Well, nobody say
I
any.
was talking about it earlier. They rule the world and then they have to go back to the real world.
Right, but do you remember the beginning?
I didn't read it.
They're playing hide and seek, I think.
Yeah, but then they go to the strange new land, and then the person asks them if they're children and if they're people, and if there's more of them, and then they get tricked.
What?
Yeah, I guess.
Reginald, this is really tasty.
But we're 4th graders. So we're almost in middle school, really.
Cool. Reginald's been kind of politely trying not to listen in on what you said there. Says, I have no need to trick you. I have no need to do any of that sort of thing. But you, Mr. Alex, are right to be nervous.
Well, I don't want anything bad to happen to me or my friends, so we'll just leave it at we're 4th graders. And you can decide what that means for yourself.
Why is he right to be nervous, other than wolves?
If you are children, and I'm not saying you are, people use children here to do things. Children sometimes fall through into here, and they have knowledge and powers that people don't, and so they use them for things.
Use them how?
Make them work for them and other things.
Oh, okay.
Like with my pendulum. It works so well here. Maybe we can do even more here. We come from a different place.
We get superpowers?
This sounds like a stranger danger kind of speech.
Well, more bread? Anyone?
Yes, please.
So, Reginald, do you have a shop that you made this stuff in?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if there's people that are out there that are going to mess with us, then if you have a shop, I can maybe use it to make sure we have, like, cool something to protect us with. Like, I presume that you're not going to let us stay here forever, because no one would let that. Plus, I mean, I've seen the amount of bread Luna's eating, and I wouldn't want that. So, if you have a shop, though, then we could take advantage of it.
Well, I've got things lying around left over in the basement if you wish to go down and look in there.
Do you know how we can get back home?
That's a good question.
I thought we were following the magic compass.
I mean,
We do.
But maybe Reginald knows something.
I don't know, but I have always heard that there is a place called Babylon, and that is a magical bridge, a way out. It is legendary.
You want to come with us?
No, I have my house. It's very nice. I worked a very long time to put this house in this order.
No.
I've got peach cobbler. Hang on. And he will leave you for a couple minutes to talk amongst yourselves while he gets the peach cobbler.
Sweet.
Well, what do you think, Luna?
Well, not everybody is hostile here. And we should stay the night here and wait till Mr. Sun comes out again.
Did you guys see that too?
The scary face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure it's not better to travel at night? I don't know if I want that thing watching me.
I can't see at night, and wolves can.
Can wolves see in the dark?
I'm going to go with yes.
He can't, no. Maybe if we wish. We have powers here. Didn't Reginald say?
Well, he said we can do things, but I don't know if that means we have powers. I mean, you've got a magic compass, but I somehow don't think that would stop the bread witch.
You have a stick now. Hmm?
Yeah, but I ripped this off a tower. It's not like it's a special power. Although I was thinking of calling it something cool, like Lockjaw. I got that once.
Lockjaw.
And that seemed like a good name for it, like my noble weapon there and stuff. I mean, as long as we're going to take over the world and be royalty and stuff. But look, kids never die in fairy tales, right? So
that's not true.
what?
No. I have a grandmother who's from Germany, and she gave me this book, and there's lots of little stories in there, and it doesn't go well for the kids. My parents won't let me look at it anymore.
Oh, we're in the stupid foreign fairy tales. Oh,
Oh, gosh.
shoot.
Hey, don't make fun of my grandma.
I'm not making fun of your grandma. I'm just saying that, you know, her stories are going to mean that we might die instead of running the world. So,
Who wants cobbler? Put it down on the
Okay.
table.
I try to focus now. Didn't Reginald also prepare eggs for us? See, is there some what is on the table? Like what kind of food? Again, there's bread, right? But also vegetables.
Yes.
So
And
I look at a potato and I try to put all my mental strength in it, and I want the potato to grow and to see if I really have powers here. So you see me there, and it looks like I'm sitting on the toilet and have some business to do there. Like really, like.
but let's have you make an imagination roll.
I try. Yes. I got this big die.
Oh my god!
It's the power of imagination.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I can roll it
Okay.
if you want. And,
Sure.
And just I throw it to the screen into you, Lois. That's a 1, unfortunately.
Oh.
It's a bad start. It's a bad start.
Reginald, where's the bathroom? I think Luna needs to go.
But hold on, I'm the dreamer. Isn't it that I can roll 2 dice?
Yes.
Roll again! Roll again!
Yoo-hoo!
Just don't roll a 1.
A 3. So
Okay. So tell me, how are you imagining? Are you trying to increase the size of this potato, or are you trying to make it grow like roots and things?
like roots and things, yes. And
Okay.
it becomes a little potato tree. No, I'm the one who knows about vegetables. Yeah, not like you.
A potato tree.
Yeah.
So you will get you will see this transform in her hands. He's got some white-skinned potatoes, and if you hold it and concentrate, it will grow and shift, and you will get a whole raft of the potatoes with the roots connecting them. Essentially, it's like a big root system with all these potatoes dangling from it, but no dirt or anything like that.
So I think actually Simon stumbles away and throws up his fist for a second, and then is like, "What did you do?"
And I think I just like reach out and like touch one of them to see if they're real.
Oh yeah, they're solid. Reginald's kind of sitting there, his mouth agape, his little pink tongue kind of hanging out there.
You can have one, Alex. You too, Reginald.
No, I'll pass on your witch potatoes. That's all right. No thanks.
Right. So this is more like a video game, and you're the wizard character. All right, I got that. That's cool. That's cool, I guess.
Do you think me and you can do something, Simon?
I'm sure, yes. Try it.
How do you do it?
Just think about what your stick should look like your with the nail. Like what kind of weapon do you want to have? Transform it. Just think about it.
Oh, all right. So I'll look suspicious, and then I'll stare at my stick.
Okay, why don't you make an imagination roll?
Hey, guess who sucks at imagination? There's some things that Simon is real good at, and this is not one of them.
You could have a roll like there.
Yeah, that's 4.
That stick is a stick. You know it's a stick. You have it in your hand. You can feel exactly the weight of it. You know that stick is a stick, and you can't picture it any other way right now.
I told you, I'm a fighter class. You're the wizard class.
Let me try.
That works.
Let me try. And I grab the stick from him.
Okay. Let's have you make an imagination roll.
All right. I got a 5.
So what's your total? What's your base imagination?
2.
2. So you can kind of maybe start to picture it, and it will maybe move and twist a little bit, but it won't change. But it's weird. I mean, clearly by concentrating, you are affecting something, but it doesn't transform all the way.
At least you got the cooking.
Reginald says, where I come from, it's polite before you cast witchy shit in someone's house that you ask. I don't know where you barbarians were raised, but you don't do that at a kitchen table.
Where we were raised, we can't do this at all. Sorry. We didn't mean to do something impolite.
Can you put those potatoes, I'll get you a sack for that, okay?
And I'm just like, lean over to Simon. I'm like, he said shit.
I know. Simon forgets that he's cooler than you. He's like, I know.
He comes back with a little burlap sack that he will hand you to put your potatoes in.
Which potatoes?
Those potatoes. The witch potatoes.
Yeah, as good as any others. Come on.
And he will clean up the meal, put everything away. You see him pack stuff away. There's a little ice box that he puts some things in and stuff. And then he will say, "Does anyone want milk?"
Where did you get the milk?
The cow comes by every week.
That makes sense. Milk.
And he'll pour you some ice cold milk. And eventually he'll say, "Now, you're welcome to stay the night.
Let's do so."
Let me get you some blankets and pillows."
Mm-hmm.
He gestures to the couch and the sofa. You can sleep there tonight.
Can I go mess around in your basement first?
You probably shouldn't do that after dark.
No, don't.
All right.
And I start to take all the cushions off of the couch and the love seat, and I'm going to make a fort.
He goes, "Yes, exactly. Yeah, he's thinking right. He knows what's up." Yes.
Yeah, I look out from there and I grin. Like my spirits are clearly buoyed by Cobbler and the fact that we can kind of do magic and all this cool stuff.
He goes upstairs. He will come back down with all of these pillows. He makes a couple of trips, brings down these big blankets. He's got a comforter. He's got one of those patchwork quilts. It has little piggy scenes sewn into it, and he brings that down and leaves that out there for you. And he'll do that thing where he's kind of like, "Is that enough? Is that okay?"
It's okay, yeah.
And I'm grabbing Simon and Luna and directing how we're gonna build this thing and seeing if it is in fact going to be enough.
Yes. Yeah, we're good at that. I mean, it's like last month or so we slept at school, so that's already the second night we spent out of our family's home.
This is only the second night you've spent out of your family's home?
Well, I don't have any relatives or anybody here. You know that. And I also don't have friends like you, Simon.
Well, look, if you made an effort, maybe you would. Stop being weird all the time.
We're making a fort. We can be friends. All three of us can be friends. We're in kind of a magical place, and we're with a pig that loves to build stuff. And let's just, at least for now, let's be friends.
But I say so, looking a little bit concerned suddenly, and I say so that Reginald can hear me. It's like, couldn't it be that the wolf is coming tonight?
Well, you'd have to get in, and this is the remaining pig, and so.
Did you see that door? There's no way a wolf's getting in.
Yeah.
No way. No way. No way. No. He goes over the door. It's safe. It's safe here.
And I like lift up like the blanket that's like the edge, and I'm like, "Do you want to come in our fort?"
No. I've got my room. But your fort looks very nice. It's very, very sturdy. Looks like it's going to be good. You're welcome to help yourselves to snacks if you wake up in the middle of the night. The water closet is just in there. Make sure you pull the handle twice. If you just pull it once, it won't go down all the way. So do it twice. But I will see you in the morning. You can dim the lanterns when you want to go to sleep.
Why does he need a closet for water? He has a fridge for the milk.
I think that's like an old-timey bathroom name.
Oh. It's dumb, but all right.
And Alex, you've got a pretty good home ec and stuff. So your fort is, you take your time, it's pretty solid. It's like all of these pillows and all of these cushions and it is what's the most notable feature about your fort here?
It has multiple floors. Somehow it's stable enough that you can climb up and then climb up again. You have to go on all fours, but yeah.
Like a bunk bed kind of thing.
Yeah.
That looks cool. Oh.
And
there's one floor for each of us. I want the top floor. I call the top floor.
Whatever.
Do you think if we have nightmares that they also become true?
I sure hope not. That's a terrible thought.
Yeah, I also kind of wish you hadn't said it.
Yeah, now that's all I can think about.
I'm sorry.
You guys are probably exhausted by this point. Between walking and the stress of everything and all of the weirdness, I imagine that you are really starting to crash.
Yep.
And it is the blanket fort is comfortable. It feels protected in this house that's already like a fort. And you guys will go to sleep, and you will be woken up by this sound, and you will hear from upstairs, no, don't blow, no.
I'll run upstairs.
I think Reginald's having a nightmare.
Doesn't matter. Simon runs upstairs with his stick.
You will run upstairs, charge upstairs, kind of open up this door. You'll see this bedroom, and you'll see Reginald. He has a night shirt, little night pants, of course. Has one of those little night masks on, and he is clearly asleep, and he is in his sleep.
So I put down my stick, and I'm gonna put a head on and say, Reg. You're freaking out, man.
What?
You're freaking out. You're screaming and freaking out.
No.
You are, dude. Look, I get it. Wolves are scary. All right, but you must chill.
Dude, I'll chill. I'm sorry.
No. Look, you sure you want to stay here? Like it's a secure house, but I'm telling you,
this is my house. This is my house. Look, I'm so sorry to have woken you up.
I'm just saying, Reg, experience has shown you're better off attacking your problems.
You seem wise for your years, but no, please just go on back downstairs.
You cool? Do you want some milk?
No. If I have milk, I'll get all gassy.
I mean,
really
you're alone in the room, though, so
it won't help. Believe me.
I appreciate that. All right,
Oh,
you sleep.
what was going on? I'm so tired. Why was
I
he
just learned
screaming?
that if a pig has nightmares, they don't appear. So, I mean, yay, we learned something about the world. Go back to bed.
You sure you don't want in the fort? It's got 3 stories, Mr. Reginald.
I don't know. Thank you very much. Just
It's
gonna
a
lay
really
back
cool
down here on
bed.
bed.
All right. I'll
Yeah.
go back to bed.
Okay. Tuck yourself in. This happens throughout the night. You fall asleep, you get in that like 10, 15, 20-minute period where you're just now falling asleep and you're kind of getting in there, and then you hear the no.
All right, so here's what happens: is like after the 3rd time, Simon goes, Reginald, man, as kids, we're super scared sleeping alone. Can we all sleep in the bed so maybe we feel more secure? Everyone would feel so much safer.
All
It would
right.
be like we were all huddled together as if we were siblings or something.
Oh, that does sound nice. That does sound nice.
Okay.
And he will scoot over to one side. I mean, of course, he has a king-sized bed, big 4-poster.
King size, yes.
And you guys can climb in, and that will seem to settle him down.
Oh,
Mind you, he snores like a pig.
no. And Pock, your construction was really, really cool. I'm so sorry that we don't sleep in it.
I'm like, I just want to sleep.
Simon is already asleep and wrapped around the pig.
So you guys will finally sleep and catch your breaths and get your head back together. In the morning, you'll probably wake up, you'll smell eggs and toast, and Reginald is already up and down there and fixing food for you guys. When you go down, it looks like he's actually preparing little, nope.
No bacon.
Like he's preparing little carry packages for you, like sandwiches and fruits and things like that.
All right. Is it okay to hit the basement?
Yes, yeah. You might want to take someone with you. Otherwise, it'll be scary down there.
I'll take the wizard. Luna,
Yes.
you want to come downstairs, see if there's something useful?
Yeah. If you are with me, nothing can be scarier.
Simon's like, that sounds kind of cool, actually. All right.
All right. And you will go down into essentially the root cellar. Or if you're a Hoosier, the root cellar. Either one. Anyway, you'll go down into there. It's not nearly as scary as he made it out to be. There are definitely bushel baskets with potatoes and things like that set down here to store against the winter and things. But there's also some piles of junk and things like that, all kinds of odds and ends and bits. So tell me, Simon, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you're going to find here?
Well,
it is a magic kingdom. You're going to find something. What is it?
Simon was basically looking for 3 types of things.
Okay.
One, he's pretty happy with Lockjaw as a bat, but he is dreadfully aware that Pock and Luna are currently, to his mind, dead weight in a fight.
Okay.
So something for them to hit things with would be good.
Okay.
It's a magic kingdom, so he would love it if there was armor. Although he's half thinking his hoodie might come in handy on that. And then the third thing is he does not understand why Reginald doesn't have a telescope. It would help him feel safe. It would give him peace of mind. Just in sheer practical sense, the lack of a telescope is bugging him.
All right. Let's have you roll a d6 for me here.
Sure.
You don't have the greatest luck.
No. And nor do I have the best
Luna,
search.
are you helping Hunt down here?
I'm helping, yes, that's what I'm there for. And
Okay. Then let's have you roll 2d6 on an off chance.
Yeah, I do have a lot of industrial arts, which was my original plan. But I don't really have time to make use of that here. All right, what the heck did I get? I got a 4 and a 6.
Okay, you get to re-roll the 6.
Okay. And I got a 2.
All right. Let's say you find a shield. It has what looks like kind of a heraldic crest of a pig. And you can see standing in front of this sort of yellow thatched house. So you've got a shield with that on it. You see it says integrity down at the bottom. And you find a weapon that is roughly kid-sized. What kind of weapon is it?
All right, well, since it's a magic kingdom, let's say it's an actual weapon. And I think given the pigs, it makes more sense for it to feel kind of like a farmer thing. So let's say it's like a pitchfork.
Okay.
But it's a pitchfork, but it's a pitchfork that's not actually designed for hay. It looks like it's actually designed for combat. There's like it's almost got like a bastard sword handle, and then it ends in a pitchfork.
Sounds good. And it's sort of smaller. The pig is smaller than a human, so it's probably size for that. Does that work for you, Luna?
oh yes, it does. Yes, I'm thinking of like a mermaid king or somebody holding this.
And Alec, you're up there with Reginald, and he will say, so where are you going to go and try and find Babylon then?
I don't think we've got much of a choice. It seems like it's the only course of action we've got. Would you mind if I make some sandwiches for the road or something?
Oh, I started on that. Yes, you can help me make some more for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
He says, if you're going to go on the road, let me give you some coin to take with you. People like that, and you may need to bargain or trade. I should tell you one thing, though. If you see anybody in yellow, if you see anybody with the heraldry of the egg, steer clear of them.
Okay.
Just avoid them. Don't just stay clear.
All right. I think we can do that. What about you? Are you going to be all right? You've done so much for us. Is there anything we can do for you?
No, just keep an eye out for the wolf. He's out there. Huge. That's how I lost my brothers.
I know. I'm sorry. I heard that story.
It's no story. It's the truth. And he'll pack up like nice sandwiches. He's got some parchment paper, like butcher's paper, that he wraps the sandwiches up. He'll put them in bags for you. He'll get some of the milk bottles, the glass ones, and he, with the wax seals on them, and he'll put those in there for you guys. And he will go and get you a little coin purse, and gives you a coin purse with 7 gold coins in it. If something goes wrong, you can always come back here if you need help.
And I think I've got all this in a bundle, and I just kind of drop the bundle and just like hug Reginald.
Oh, no. You go, there.
Oh, I love Reginald so much.
And you all can gather your food together. You've got this weapon. Looks like Reginald's gotten up and maybe also brushed the mud off of your shoes and things like that, just to get that a little cleaned up. And he will say then, well then, I should unlock the door and let you guys go. And he will go over, and again, that long and kind of gets it, and he will open up that door for you. And clearly reluctantly, lets you guys leave.
I take him in my arms. Goodbye, Reginald. It was nice staying with you.
There. Yes. All good. Watch out for the wolf.
Simon punches him on the shoulder in a friendly way on the way out.
Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. All right. And he'll wave to you guys, but like you get like a couple feet out of the door. He doesn't leave it open. You can hear the sound of it closing.
Simon has to dole out some goodies here because I have more weapons than I can use, and the whole point was to make sure people were armed. And he's like, all right, who wants what? Luna, you want the shield?
I take the shield, yes.
All right. So, you want Lockjaw or the War Pitchfork?
Well, Lockjaw seems like it's yours.